The commitment is to awareness. The commitment is to awareness, and that underlying commitment to awareness is the reduction of stress and suffering for yourself and others. So there's plenty of room in there for you to look at your wife's butt and go like this. Not those jeans. That's it. Fair enough? You don't even have to call it a little white lie or not the full truth. I mean, just forget all that. You're wasting time. It's not about the truth. There isn't one. It's about not hurting yourself and not hurting others and growing your awareness. Not creating stress and suffering. How's that? All right. Moving right along. I mean, we could spend, I'm not taught 3 and 4 month subjects on this subject, so this is an introduction. Moving right along. I hate to give it such a cursory treatment, but I just want you to get the general idea. Okay. If you're interested in 3 or 4 month courses in this, they're all posted online. We have all the stuff if you want to go through each eval and really, dice it out. Believe it or not, I actually took the time to do that and put everybody to sleep. But if you want to do that, you really want to get into it, we've done it. All the vows, bodhisattva vows, monks' vows, nuns' vows. I think, Sue, you fell asleep in that class a few times. All right, Thomas, these were former monks and nuns with us. Okay, sexual misconduct. Come on. What's the opposite? Not to cheat. I'm not gonna mention what goes on in the office, but it happens. But that's not what we're talking about. That's the obvious part. What's the antithesis?
Sacredness.
Huh?
Looking at sexuality as sacredness.
Looking at sexuality as sacred. Treating sexuality as sacred, as your bond between yourself and your partner. And even if it's just you, treating your own sexuality as sacred. Fair enough? And what does sacred mean? I don't know. What does it mean? Test the limits of your awareness. Because what's sacred for you may not be the same definition as someone else has. But definitely we're talking about treating sexual energy with a high degree of respect. Fair enough? That's the base. That's the base. It's one thing to go to the club and go dancing, right? It's another thing to go shopping. We'll call it shopping. Right? Because people do go to dance. Do go to have fun, right? And then there are people who go shopping. Right? So, let's stick with the dance. Fair enough? So, lastly, I'll get you out of here, this thing about intoxicants. This has been, within the mindfulness tradition, has been treated, depending on the teacher and depending on the tradition, so very, very differently. One tradition will say something, many of the Tibetan traditions, for example, say something like this: not a single drop of alcohol on the tip of the tongue. And if you do, they have the Buddha being quoted as, which you can't find in the Pali Canon anywhere, as saying, then you're not a follower of mine. If it's one drop of alcohol to the tip of the tongue. Other traditions have it like this: don't intoxicate your awareness. Don't intoxicate your mind. I'm going to prefer that you go with that one. Here's what I'm interested in, is that you don't take it, and people always go, well, isn't sugar intoxicant, things like that? Listen, maybe you're right, maybe you're not right about sugar, caffeine, etc. That's up to you. That's your level of awareness. You get that? If you want to take it to those extremes, and that's fine with me. For some people, that's exactly where they need to go with it. But what we're getting at is about how much alcohol would it take, or how many drugs, or how much sugar or caffeine, whatever your take is, would it take for you, let's say you're in a married, committed relationship, just as an example. And here you are over here, and this is your spouse, and you go out with your friends, right? She stays at home. You go out with your friends, and this woman, who you've never met before, starts to engage you in flirtatious conversation. Right, Russ? Fair enough? Yeah. People are human. Russ is wearing his ring, and that's a big magnet for just the wrong kind of person. Fair enough? Okay. So, means he's safe. He's wearing a ring. Good for a night and won't have any other issues. Right? So very attractive. Very attractive. So Russ, being a practitioner of mindfulness, practitioner of awareness, is going like this. Well, it's really nice to meet you. And then she says, hey, let's have a drink. Fair enough? No problem, right? Because, I mean, I'm committed, but remember, this whole thing's about awareness. Now, what happens, because right now he's looking at her and he's able to go, seeing, story. You get that? Mm-hmm. With this lady. So his marriage, his commitment, his relationship is safe so far. Because he's able to go what? Seeing, story. Does that make sense? So far, so good. Russ is out of town with his friends. Everything's cool. Here comes the first martini. Now how seeing, story. What's happening? Getting blurry. Ooh, this story's looking pretty good. Fair enough? And now we're 2 martinis in. How much seeing is going on? How's that marriage going? How's that sacred sexual commitment working out? See, what if it's about the vow, like, I'm not going to do this? I mean, you're always going to be left in weird positions, like, what about at weddings, funerals, whatever. You know, I mean, well, you're always going to be left in odd positions. Like, should I not cheer? I mean, it's a vow, it's a commitment. I never was supposed to put 1 drop of alcohol to the tip of the tongue, otherwise I'm not a Buddhist. Okay. And the Dalai Lama will know, from Dharamsala, he will know. From the foothills of the Himalayas, he will know that I've done this. And I will go to Buddhist hell. I mean, or how about that we're focused on awareness? Isn't that, I just like you to hear the sensibility of it all. The sensibility is that we're trying to keep our attention, trying to keep our awareness so that we don't cause ourselves and others to suffer. Fair enough? So if you're at a wedding and someone offers you champagne, you're like, no! I'm with the Dalai Lama! So I'm trying to make you not sound like a weirdo. I'm trying to help you, and I'm trying also not to have you disparage, when you say things like that, our entire mindfulness tradition. Where people go, oh God, another crazy Buddhist. Can't even enjoy a wedding. Now, I'm not speaking to you if you have problems already with addictive behaviors, in other words, with alcohol and drugs. That's a completely different conversation. But I did want to get you to perhaps even consider taking the precepts for yourself. And having said that, many people don't realize that you can take a precept temporarily. It doesn't mean for the rest of your life. You don't have to take even all of them. You can take one of them. Like right now, I commit myself once a day to protecting life. How's that? That's a commitment I keep for the next 24 hours, or for a week, or for a month. And then you can return that to it and say, okay, that's over. I tested it. That's what it's for. It's a test of awareness. You got that? Mm-hmm. Okay. You could take 2, you could take 3, you could do all of them except the intoxicants. Right? You can take any of them, but I would encourage you, in fact, to take the commitments, to take the precepts. You don't need to take them from anybody. You don't need to take them from a teacher, from a monk. You don't have to do it in front of an altar, in front of the statue. It can just be you sitting in a reclining metal chair with no witnesses. Fair enough? Mm-hmm. A lot of times these people think, oh, I've got to get it from a Vajra guru master with a mirror and smoke and water on my head. No. It can just be you and your relationship to your own mind. How's that? And if you want to splash yourself with water, it's up to you at the end. But it's really about what? What are ethics about? Your relationship to your own awareness. Fair enough? Thank you very much.
Thank you.